Good morning, CA1s. I hope your first couple weeks of CA1 year has gone really well. Today, your topic is ventilators. Before we get started, you should know that this is a gigantic topic. There's so much that you could study, so many little intricacies to ventilators. But just to keep yourself on track, make sure you focus on the things that we're going to cover in the objectives so you can target your studying and not waste a ton of time. Your first objective is respiratory parameters. When you look at all of the numbers that the ventilator is generating each second, what do all of those data points tell you about the patient? How can you tell if your patient is oxygenating or ventilating well? What is PEEP and what does it do for you? And then what is minute ventilation? Next, you'll move on to ventilator modes. You should think about modes on ventilators in two broad categories: controlled modes and spontaneous modes. There are a lot of weird and proprietary modes that each ventilator company will come up with. That's not what you should focus on. As you study, focus on controlled and spontaneous modes and when you would use each one. For your next objective, you'll go over the loops and waveforms on the ventilator. This relates back to your first objective, respiratory parameters, but for this one, really focus on airway pressure and how you can tell the difference between the various airway pressures that the ventilator will alarm for. As you study, think about the various things that can go wrong and lead to a high airway pressure alarm. As time goes on, you'll also come up with a pretty standardized way that you're going to check the various elements of the ventilator circuit when this alarm goes off. For your last objective, you'll go over ventilator liberation, or as some people like to say, extubation. How can you tell if a patient is ready to come off of a ventilator, and what are the extubation criteria that will all follow, whether we're in the OR or the ICU, to get someone off the vent? As always, here are some additional resources to aid your studying. I wanted to call your attention to these hardcover recommendations. The ventilator book is a small green book you can get on Amazon, and it's something that I found very helpful to go over the basics of mechanical ventilation as a student and again as a first-year resident.